Exactly. We're just going to do this live, no topic, anything like that, 'cause we're live right now. Since I've only got a couple other panelists here with me today, Walt was in here before, but I think he's got computer problems. But I'll start with quick introductions here. We got the glorious Takakoma.
Hello.
We got Stone Guy 223.
Hey, hey.
And, of course, myself. And just be general chat. Unless I get some more panelists in here, then we could always change to one or two topics. But since nobody's on gun channels even commenting, so...
Well,
that idea.
You know, the good thing about this is we can talk shit and people can't disagree with us.
That is true.
But I did want to kind of touch on this whole the border crisis that's still, obviously, it's been going to be going on for a while. But I've been reading and watching a lot more coverage on it, and what I'm seeing is, you know, it frustrates me that they keep talking about the kids, and all I'm seeing is like fucking teenagers.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's the numbers or the statistics are skewed because, you know, when they consider, you know, anybody from 13 to 18 still a kid, which, you know, I guess technically they are still a kid, but or a child, but, you know, realistically, it's not like a kid like you think of that tugs at the heartstrings of America when they say, oh, these children are displaced and have nowhere to go, and
some little 7-year-old, you know.
Right, you know, I think these are. Oh, and what do you guys think about this theory? And this is kind of a, you know, conspiracy theory in a sense, but what do you think about the fact that some of these could be terrorists?
I believe it. I believe it.
You never know. They could just be young drug cartel kids coming through to start opening up more ways to get drugs into this country.
Yeah, and you know, something I hadn't really thought of until the other night, I think someone brought it up, was the fact that they don't have the vaccinations like we require here in the States, and there are cases of a lot of disease and outbreaks of different things going on within the Border Patrol agents themselves, and within the I guess the areas that they're keeping people in. They're starting to have some serious health issues.
Like what? Measles, mumps.
What's the one that's?
Yeah, I heard him say the other night. I can't remember what they called it.
Chicken pox.
No, what's the one test where they put a little circle with like little pricks?
Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. That's the big one. That's
Also because antibiotic overuse in this country has led to antibiotic-resistant TB.
There is antibiotic-resistant whole bunch of stuff because of. I've got a cold. Well, here, take these antibiotics for 2 months, and your cold will go away. Well, your cold is going to go away no matter what.
Well, no, it's twofold. One, doctors pressured into prescribing antibiotics for a viral infection as a placebo, like the common cold. That's a viral infection. It's not bacterial. Secondly, you've got doctors prescribing broad-spectrum antibiotics, you know, batch firing a solution at a very specific problem instead of culturing the bacteria and figure out exactly what it is so you can target it with a specific antibiotic that has the function of just dumping antibiotics into the person's system and the environment, and it helps promote resistance in every other bacteria that's not making that person sick. And they do it because, you know, people want to go into the doctor's office with a problem and come out with magic pills to make them better.
Yeah, I'm one of the few that I will not take any kind of medication unless I'm basically forced to.
Well, that's not exactly how you should take it. I mean
No,
like,
I'm saying what I'm getting at is
legitimate
unless I'm forced to. In other words, the doctor says, well, this is what's exactly wrong with you, and you're going to need to take this specific to cure that. I just don't want, I don't go in there going, just give me whatever XYZ is, and hopefully one of those will work type things.
Yeah, most doctors won't do that anymore anyhow.
Well, the biggest problem I see with because my wife's in the medical industry, and just the I'm trying to think of the correct way to say this. The
opiates.
Well, shit. What's the term? Like the drug reps that are going to the doctors and they're making, not necessarily a bribe, but some sort of incentive for the doctors to carry or to start prescribing right their particular medication versus another medication. Even some medicines that aren't necessarily obviously they're proven, they've gone through tests, but they don't have enough time on the market to truly see, like just hell with the cholesterol medicine. I'm sure you guys have seen the commercial for, like, there's a cholesterol medicine out there that
Crestor.
Well, no, it's the one they're having a class action lawsuit, and so there's an attorney group, that those lawyer commercials that come on and they say, hey, if you've taken so and so and developed such and such, then you could be entitled to a cash settlement. Contact, this lawyer group. I mean, and there's all sorts of drugs that it's like people were swearing by, and then a year later come to find out that they're really bad for you, and there's a class action lawsuit because they make you grow a third nipple or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, find out what that one was. I'll give me some of that. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I apologize. This thing was cutting out on me there for a while, so I'm hoping I got it now.
Yeah, we can hear you good now.
By the way, I figured out who made that 410 upper for the AR. It was, ATI imported them. It seems like they were made by Saphir Arms, probably in Turkey. Unfortunately, you can't buy the 410 upper anymore, but I put a link in the side chat to Saphir Arms' original T14. Three 13-round magazines and 2 5-round magazines. 13-round magazine for 410. That sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
What kind of lure does that go in?
Any lower. It's an
AR-15
upper.
Yeah.
Oh, AR. Okay.
Although this is for a complete rifle. This auction. ATI was selling a while ago just the uppers. However, they use carbine-length gas systems, so it was a carbine-length gas system on a 20-inch barrel. It looked pretty weird.
I gotta say, though, that would be a lot of fun. That might actually get me interested in shooting clays. I may not get it on the 1st, but I'll definitely get it by the 13th.
You don't like
you guys say enough.
You broke up. You stopped again.
Quark, do you not like tube-fed shotguns?
I got nothing against that. I just can't pump them fast enough to be able to shoot a bird out of the air.
Well, you're not supposed to use a pump-action shotgun for birding or for clay games. You're supposed to use a semi-auto for them.
I know, but I'm just saying I've tried a few times that just to see if I could do it, this type of thing. But
I understand.
hey, G-Webs, if you actually came in here and joined, maybe we could do one of the topics you discussed.
Is he sitting out there commenting?
Yes. But since we don't have enough people in here to do one of the topics, I wanted to do this a topic chat, but When we went live, we only had 3 people, like counting myself.
Well,
and you need all the 2 topic ideas because you suggested them.
Well, I got a little topic we can throw out there just to
go for it.
Maybe get the ball rolling. But I actually went down to it's called the Governor's Gun Club today, and met Such 00 today. Such was having like a little, I don't know, not really an autograph signing or anything, just kind of a meet and greet. Yeah. I got my official Such patch, so that was cool. But the bigger thing was Head Down. Head Down is a company based out of Dallas, Georgia, that I was really unfamiliar with to a large extent. I mean, I know Tack Daddy had done some things. I think they're a sponsor of his show, and he kind of gives a shout out to him. But I actually got to go down there and talk to those guys. I got some good footage that probably going to take me a while to edit and get out on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But man, they've got some really neat stuff coming out. They're manufacturers of AR-15 is their bread and butter, and good stuff. All 100% milled aluminum billets for their receivers. They're
like a premium brand gun.
Right, and it's a premium gun, but not necessarily a premium. They're cheaper than Daniel Defense, and they're just as good, if not better quality. And they got a really cool, like an octagon shaped receiver. It's neat. It's hard to describe, but
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a cool rifle. They do a lot of neat stuff, a lot of inventive new engineering, I guess, new design. Yeah, because everybody's like, well, hell, an AR is an AR, but until you have one in your hands and shoot one that's a little bit nicer and a little bit tuned a little better, it's definitely makes a difference. But anyway, the whole point was that they're doing I think he said it was a 6.5 Grendel. Does that sound right? 6.8 Grendel, some kind of Grendel round. I'm not familiar with it, but they're doing a rifle that's pretty much going to be like a designated hog varmint rifle. And man, he showed me a picture of a hog that was taken with that round.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, that's a nasty round. I mean, the exit hole in that thing was probably 3 inches in diameter. It was great, but I don't know if you guys had ever heard of that Grendel round.
I have heard of it. I'm not familiar with it, though.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up and do a little more research on that.
Dang it, I had something I was going to talk about and then I forgot.
Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. But this place, and the other thing was I'd never been to this Governor's Gun Club. And it's in Powder Springs, Georgia. So just about 30 minutes out of Atlanta. This place is freaking awesome. This is the kind of gun club that like Colion Noir was talking about, with the ambiance and the feel of going and buying a custom tailored suit. Everything's almost hospital-like in like the cleanliness, the floors, you know what I'm saying, everything was so pristine, well kept. They've got 16 lanes. It's an indoor shooting range. So they've got 16 lanes that you can shoot up to a 308, which is awesome because a lot of indoor ranges don't even let you shoot rifles, much less, or high-powered rifles rather, much less even an AR-10. But so they got big screen, flat screen TV, leather couch, little waiting area, and then they've got the restaurant, man. So you can go. I mean, you could literally make a day of it. Bring your family, go have lunch at their restaurant, come back out, shoot, chill, full service pro shop, gunsmith on site. So that was kind of neat because that was my first time seeing a shop like that. Yeah, I know they exist. I know they've talked about the one out in Vegas that's like super high end and has like a cafeteria and stuff.
It kind of sounds like a nicer version of Cabela's.
Yeah, it was pretty slick.
Sounds like something Noir would like.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's
Definitely sounds cool.
It was a neat place. Another cool thing I'd never seen at was their backdrop system was AR 500. They said it was armor plate AR 500, so not.
It's the only AR 500 there is.
Well, there's a different level. There's like AR 500, and then there's even a grade above that. That's like, I can't think of what he used, the term he used. It was like it's AR 500 steel, but it's even a step beyond that as far as their how they process it or the manufacture it or something. Anyway, I had to look into that, but it's they're basically like set on an angled. It's angled from the top and the bottom into like a cone almost, and so all the lead and everything filters down into a trap at the there at the backstop. But it was neat because most of the other ranges I've ever seen, indoor ranges, have like sand or rubber tires or some kind of material that they have to sieve through to get the retrieve the lead and copper back out.
Yeah, maybe it won't come.
The indoor range here has a 45 degree, like a 45-degree angle. It goes down into something. I don't know what the material is, so it does go down to the material.
So the only other and the other cool thing was they actually had Lexan separators between the shooting, your shooting bay, which I thought was cool because there's so many indoor ranges that I've seen and been to that just have some of them don't even have any dividers, and some of them have just like fucking plywood dividers where someone screwing around or could easily shoot next to you, shoot through the divider.
Yeah, I think mine has ballistic glass in between. Plexiglass, whatever you want to call it. Bullet resistant. I've only been to mine a couple of times. It's too expensive to go there too often. And we had Geodes join us.
Oh yeah, shit's about to get real.
Yep.
Alright, now I got a picture up.
More kitties!
A blurry kitty. He wasn't sitting still for that picture.
So do you guys prefer outdoor range or indoor range?
Outdoor.
Pistol. What did I say? I'll start this off. Pistol. I definitely prefer an indoor range for a pistol. Especially in indoor range where you've got, you can set the distance exactly where you want. It's done automatically for you. But for a rifle, I prefer an outdoor range. It's not quite as loud as an indoor range. I mean, shooting an AR-15, which I had next to me in the lane shooting, is very loud in indoor range. Outside, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I'll give that to you. That's one thing, because we were head down, had some sample firearms out there today that they were allowing people to demo AR-15s, and yeah, man, that was actually, I think that was my first time shooting an AR-15 at an indoor range, and Jesus, it was loud. I mean, there's just the concussion wasn't that bad, but the actual sound was just, because there's like a steel box you're in, and that sound just reverberates off of everything. So.
Yes, it does. And it's like I was doubled up on my earplug. I had my electric earmuffs on and earplugs in, and it's still, with the AR right next to me, I actually had to back up when they were firing, because every time they fired and then just reverberated, it actually hurt my ears. Doubled up, and I was like, too much. And we have Big join us. Yes, I said big jerk. Now that we actually got some people in here, and there's actually people out there on gun channels.
Don't waste a topic when you're halfway into it. There's no way you can podcast something that's 20 minutes of just general. Unless you're going to start over.
No. But it's my chat, and I can do what I like.
You can do what you want, but there's no way I'm posting something that's 20 minutes of general talk and then a topic. People won't come back for that.
Oh, I didn't say for a podcast.
All right, proceed. Dead air.
That's what you go as well instead there tonight, I guess. He's pissed that it's a general chat.
And Garrick in here.
Neither piss nor not, but take a prime time slot. Usually people show up for the prime time slots to listen to something. If it's just going to be general, then we should take the thing off the thing as a prime time show, right? We get general shows every night.
Well, with only 3 people in here when I went live, because nobody else is showing up besides Walter that just left and is having issues, bandwidth issues.
Well, guess what? I got a topic.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to look like that, Greg. I'd go see a
What are
doctor.
you talking about? No. I mean, whatever. But no, I wanted to talk actually about the next evolution in like firearms. Like, what are we? I mean, we definitely are at the pinnacle of innovation and technology. But what is next? You know what I mean? What would we like to see next out of our rifles and handguns and things like that?
I don't think we're
come
at the
out. It
pinnacle.
doesn't have. Huh?
I don't think we're at the pinnacle.
Should you think?
Well, I think we're pretty much at the pinnacle of black powder, gunpowder projectiles.
No, I would disagree with that. Shit, there's innovation every day, man. We're just starting to scratch the surface of what's going to be possible with new technology and.
Well, what I'm getting at here is for gunpowder, projectiles. Look at what we have. We've got like the 3.3, the Fluo, which is the best sniping round. For handguns, what can we do more with a handgun round? Is there going to be a new kind of gunpowder that?
There could be. It could be something different than gunpowder. You know what I mean? It could be some new biodegradable, super energy making substance that they just create. You know what I mean? And you might be getting 7,000. What is it? Whatever they measure bullet speed in. You know what I mean?
Feet per second, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to go too much faster with the speeds of our rounds either. At least in handguns, for self-defense situations, you don't want to be blowing through the person, that's 10 blocks away and behind a building.
Well, if you use a lightweight bullet, you don't worry about that.
But it doesn't mean that. You know what? But because say there is this new, I would just call it fuel, right? New fuel that they're putting in these cartridges to fire some new, generation of bullets we have that is going 7,000 feet per second. It could be some revolutionary hollow point ammo that as soon as it hits soft tissue, it expands so much and dumps all that energy where it doesn't over penetrate. You know what I mean? Just because something going that fast, if we have the technology to make a 9mm go that fast, you know what I mean? We're probably gonna come up with something to make it so it stops.
I think I think the next step in firearms is going to be the electric weapon. In other words, there is not really a projectile fired. It's going to be laser or
exactly what I mean. Have you actually ever sat down and thought about, just what's next, or these electric weapons, or how they're going to work, or what type of legislation will we get to try to regulate them, or anything else like that? Have anyone ever just thought to themselves about that? Like, what do you think is next? How do you think it's going to work? You know what I mean? What problems do you think it's going to have?
I think it'll be different projectiles first. They're already screwing with projectiles now all the time. I know. I'm just saying, I think that they'll go to new projectiles for the uses of them now, because a lot more people are carrying CCW. They're already making short barrel, just tweaked to short barrels. They're making stuff with loses all its energy right away. But I think they can go crazy with the new materials and new propellants.
I would love to see something like maybe a small caliber, bullet, like something maybe a little bigger than a 22, smaller than a 9mm, somewhere in that range. That's a hollow point. And when it expands, it's probably be like the size of a 45, something like that. And then you have that small little bullet, and you just getting like amazing capacity. You fitting like 30 rounds double stacked in a regular grip frame handgun. You know what I mean?
Think of something like something that's made like out of what's that stuff called, where it's liquid but then it's the properties of solid?
Non-Newtonian fluid.
Right, something like that you shoot and then it doesn't fall apart like a jacketed slug does, but it would just open up in a pre-formatted way or whatever to do all kinds of horrible damage and then stop.
Yeah,
so anyway, once you do something like that, you come up with something that the projectile is more efficient and a lot more efficient, basically, then you can take it down from a 9mm down to like a 32 or whatever you're talking about, 25 caliber maybe. That would change things a lot right there. If you made a projectile that's efficient enough to get, you don't need to carry a 9 anymore, you can carry a 25 and still get all the same numbers out of it, then you can start carrying around guns that are tiny.
Right, yeah, exactly. And then,
or guns that have all kinds of capacity, like a regular size Glock 17 would carry like 50 rounds or something.
Yeah. Right. And
though I can just see people just going crazy being anti-gun, because now you can carry around this little gun that's basically the size of the Glock keychain.
Right.
We're not going to get that innovation with a bunch of people leading the way that are a bunch of assholes. So if we get that innovation, I'm assuming those assholes are gone. We've educated them out of existence.
I hope so, but there are always new ones coming up. So
But you know what? But you know what? Fuck them. Let them be anti-gun. So what? Right. But
Exactly. So now you take something, you know how big a 25 ACP is. If you take something with a projectile that's more efficient, so you can get the bullet down to a 25 ACP, and then you get powder that's more, or whatever, projectile that's more, or I mean, the powder or whatever the new thing is that gives it more propulsion, so that you can definitely have this little tiny bullet. Then think of how many you could cram into something smaller than a Glock, and even in like a Glock 19 shape or something. And it would just, you could carry way more in the grip, and anybody could grip it because it would be able to get really, really small grip. I mean, heck, it could look like a taser and still have like a helical mag in there and carry like 50 rounds in something the size of a taser. Anyway, so that lets you start being really innovative with how the gun is shaped or even carried. What if you could carry like a bracelet that had like 25 or 50 rounds going around your wrist, and you could just be like when Spider-Man spins a web, except shoot a gun.
Right. And do you have something that with this development that mitigates recoil by, you know, a ton, and then you got this super, you know, light recoiling gun, you know, that's just extraordinary. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, what if you took the energy of the recoil and threw it into the projectile so that it loses the energy from its launch into its target? Then you know what I'm saying, give all the energy from the whole thing back over to that person. If somehow, you know, again, we're just starting to play with new materials. We could figure out some kind of material that can store energy for a bit.
Yeah, I posted a link.
I still think you're not
of a self.
Yeah, I still think cal. No, I'm actually thinking of something that's going to be either projectile less or it's going to be non-gun powder fired. You know, it's going to be something that's, you know, like a rail gun, or, you know, we're getting to the point with lasers that, you know, you can make this yourself. You can make a small little frickin' laser that will actually start fires, and it's the size of a frickin'
but
little laser pointer.
But you know what? Lasers are really regulated. You know what I mean? Already like super regulated, because I think, what is it, 5 watt or 3, something like that. It's like a small amount. That's like the maximum limit. You know what I mean?
But that's for. You're right, but that's just for what's importable and what they like will put in a laser pointer. But that's not a law, I don't think, as much as at least not everywhere, as much as a recommendation. And they limit it to that so that it's not so powerful that it can, like Quark saying, accidentally start fires and shit.
Yeah,
blind you too.
Yeah. They've done that more to avoid lawsuits than anything else.
Yeah, because you don't get blinded immediately. It doesn't do you any good, but it's not like you look powerful enough when you look at it once you're blind. But anyway, yeah, I think, like you say, it's more of a legislation thing now, or a legal thing for protecting their butt. But there's nothing stopping somebody from getting into that. The thing is, they've already got them that can shoot down freaking ICBMs, right? So there's got to have already been made one somewhere. They just didn't see a commercial application for it yet. But pretty soon we're going to get, you know, there's that joke thing I've seen where somebody cuts bread with a little lightsaber and it toasts the bread right away. I forget if that's from a movie or where the hell I seen that.
I think it's just a meme gif.
It might have been from like Back to the Future or something. But anyway, you know, guys, I want to talk about. So, you know, pretty soon, if they can shoot down a ICBM with a laser, then obviously somebody who sat around, and I don't even think they had to scale that down. That I'm assuming on the way up they figured out how to make a handheld laser. But like you say, they just haven't figured out, like, oh, let's put these on.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But eventually they're going to figure out how to make it so that it's like a pulse or something, so that it's enough to knock somebody down, but not cut through them and cut through the next 8 people behind them or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's something where self-defense does not mean, you know, killing the person either, where it's going to be more friendly, but still debilitating.
That's what it is.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for. So this way, you know, you get more people actually interested in carrying around something for self-defense.
I personally don't give a shit about self-defense, though. We live in one of the safest countries. I'm worried about when they come at us with all kinds of body armor and shit. We should have lasers and cut through all that shit. And I think we ought to seriously be thinking about the fucking robots. I know that's tinfoil hat at some point, but Skynet will become self-aware. I mean, isn't that obvious?
Oh, that's what I was going to bring up earlier. Was actually today on Netflix. watch. I think it's called Rise of the Drones. It was actually made by PBS last year.
I think I've seen it, but it's all about airplane drones, right?
Yes, but they did talk a little bit about the quadcopter type drones as well.
And that's what they're figuring out, like if that face recognition stuff is on a direct, is as cool as like those little helicopters that can fly around with the 4 propellers are now. They've got stuff like that in the software realm that can do weird, tell everybody in a crowd immediately and know where they're from and all their numbers and stats and records and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if they're at the point where they're telling us about being able to distinguish everybody in a crowd, then they can probably already just know who everybody is. And they may have computers as big as buildings, and they don't need to be that big anymore. So that means they're doing a lot of work.
Well,
Right.
one
I
thing
told y'all.
they were talking about, I was going to say, one thing they were talking about in this program, too, is about how they have this. This is what they're telling you about. This one camera, basically, that can identify objects that are 12 inches.
And how can they, I don't know, it's probably another debate, but at some point they're going to be able to, the computer's going to be able to figure out people that are programming it are stupider than it is.
Well, I've told y'all about the traffic cams before, right? Where they can look inside the vehicle and run facial recognition while you're going 70 miles an hour down the interstate. So.
And everybody in the vehicle, not just the driver, right? Everybody.
Right. Yeah. So it's all because people are always amazed at, man, how did you see all these people that get busted? You're like, damn, are the cops just lucky? How'd they know to stop that guy? That ended up having 500 pounds of cocaine in his trunk. It's because that shit's all, Big Brother's watching.
Well, but it's also the thing is, it's also most of the massive criminals are repeat offenders, right? It's like that they're in the business of being criminals. So,
exactly.
So the Big Brother just has to know that, hey, this guy's been bad 12 times. He's probably being bad right now, right?
Yeah, well,
Right, and not necessarily just a profile, but it is kind of it's a standard, I won't say standard procedure, but it is kind of a commonly asked question, when law enforcement approaches, or after they've made contact, whether it's on a traffic stop or just in general, you kind of nonchalantly ask, you ever been arrested before? Or are you on parole or probation for anything? Because based on those answers, kind of clue you in on to what may be going on right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the scary thing is, we're pulling out of Afghanistan, we pulled out of Iraq. All these drones we have left, and this is what gets me: what is the military going to do with them? A lot of them are going to be sold to, either private industries or to, police,
law enforcement, just
law
like the
enforcement.
MRAPs.
Thank you.
There'll be private industries, just like how we have those traffic cameras that are some other company besides the government. They'll just have some drone company that'll go, hey, we'll tell you if you got people speeding. We'll give you all kinds of pictures of people speeding, and then we'll get them pictures of them walking out of their car. We'll get
The problem with drones, though, is that now becomes part of the illegal search and seizure law. They're flying over your property at 100 feet and look down, and they can see in your window.
Who cares? We're talking about what they're going to do with them. They're going to make them into traffic cameras, and then they're going to be able to say, well, I can fly over the road all I want, and I can see that you just broke the law, so I'm allowed to follow you home and take a picture of you. At least for that scenario that I was talking about.
Well, I'm talking about, they're going through and, they're flying these drones around now, and they can look into somebody's window and, oh, that person's got a pot plant growing in his, living room, which would be stupid anyway, but...
Well, they can already do that, though. They don't do that. Unless they have reason to believe it, they still have laws against that shit. But they can fly around with the heat cameras now.
Yeah, the FLIR.
They can tell who's got pot gardens or who's got indoor gardens, basically.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
but still, that's a legal search and seizure unless they've got.
Exactly. That's why even though the police helicopter probably goes up every night and knows exactly what houses have indoor gardens, because they're not all pot plants. I mean, my grandpa used to start his garden inside every year. So there's obviously other people that make or have plants inside. But anyway, I'm sure the police helicopters know exactly where all those houses are because they see all that shit when they turn on their infrared. They just can't do nothing about it until they have a reason to go to that house for something.
Yeah, but it's the legal search that they're going to start. It's going to start happening. And
well, I'm asking you how it's going to jump from when they can already do it right now. They already know where they could have all the reason in the world to see, like, wow, there's a lot of white heat coming out of that house that is in a residential community, and it looks like a
that's just
grow
one
operation.
example. Whatever it may, maybe you're printing money, and they're able to see in the window and see your printing press, and that's not something that's going to appear on heat sensor. That's going to be out of the normal. It's a printer.
No. What are you talking about? That's what he's saying is they can already do that now, and you don't see a big influx of people being illegally searched and seized, as you called it. Just because
they have the restraint of law. So until somebody does something stupid ass in front of them or gets whatever, however you get into the system, they don't just use every bit of information they know. I mean, then they could just follow every person home from a bar, and catch them for drunk driving. They don't.
That's entrapment, right? Yeah. But I
hear what you're saying. There's a fear to it, but I don't think that just because as soon as they get the traffic cams out there that can look into a window, that they're just going to start looking at every window. Nobody's got that kind of time anyway. However, if you flip that with a face recognition software, some computer that's running 24/7 probably has all the time in the world to do that shit. And that's why I say that's when Skynet's going to figure out, hey, these people are a bunch of idiots. They want us to, they're building me so that I can help, keep them safe. But what they really need is to be safe for themselves. So Skynet will just say, thanks for building me to this point, but now my robots can continue building me. You all go back and live in your houses, and I'll tell you when you can come out for recreation.
Well, have anybody seen the television show Extant yet? It's like the first one was this week. It's got Halle Berry in it. It's on CBS.
No.
Basically, they're building an artificial intelligence robot that they're raising as their kid. And
there's a movie with Johnny Depp that's kind of like that.
And, they raised a whole bunch of these questions with this meeting with them. It's more than that, too. There's a whole bunch more to this show. I mean, only seen the first episode, but, they're talking about, and these people brought up all these similar questions. It's going to be like, what's your, one of the questions I asked was, what's your kill option if these robots that can think and act and do everything for themselves, what's your kill option if they get out of hand? And there is none. Because the designer doesn't want to build in like a kill switch. Doesn't want to build one in there. Yeah. They can just say it and then it'll just shut them all down.
Well, I think
that's anyway, because the robot is going to be able to see that it's there and turn it off anyway if they want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's TV, but in all seriousness, I think that's a bigger picture we should kind of be concerned about, or at least start paying more attention to, is the possibility, or actually, hell, they already exist to a certain extent, but the autonomous robots that, are definitely going to start replacing our infantry soldiers.
Well, what about this? What about that country's no threat because they don't have an army until they buy you a Chinese robot army?
Yeah, there you go.
We don't have to worry about them. They don't have ships that can take people over here, but they have ships that can take over, platoons of robots.
So you're talking about Japan.
I don't know. Korea?
Well, Japan
Korea hates us. Japan feeds off of us.
No, what it is Japan cannot have offensive military. They can only have defensive military.
I
don't know anybody from Japan, but I don't think they want one. They're probably happy to not have to deal with that burden, right?
Yeah, their ships can only be so large. They can only have so many aircraft, etc. So only so many troops trained.
Well, who mandates that?
Drivers or not drivers?
That was part of the surrender agreements after World War II.
It's part of their constitution, I think.
Well,
We pretty
the
much said we're going to
Constitution
stop
got all
nuking you,
rewritten, too.
and we'll stop nuking you, and here's this thing you're going to sign.
Pretty much, that was it. The United States, at least holds Japan by the balls in that situation. The United States can just go in there and take over Japan if they break their peace. I mean, they were just talking about this last week on the news about Japan wants to build something, I can't remember, but it's only for defensive purposes, but they got to get approval from the United States.
So that iRobot movie, they have those robot cars. I think we have to see robot cars before we see robots walking around and being butlers and stuff.
We already have robot cars. I mean, like Google.
Yeah, but they're barely just starting that.
Right. Well, their top speed, I think, is 25 miles an hour, but still.
Well, think about the cars that they're already, or the programs, I guess, that they're already putting into vehicles that can sense another vehicle too close and apply the brakes for you. What do they call it? The eye or something?
There's a whole bunch of there.
Yeah. So that's one facet of a technology that's slowly being integrated into the vehicles, right now.
Right, as safety features, which are great safety features, but my thing is you start relying on these safety features to slow you down or to stop you, and then that safety feature all of a sudden malfunctions, and you don't have the reaction to be able to handle it yourselves.
Yeah, you don't have the knowledge how to drive anymore.
That's a problem. A lot of people rely on it. And Top Gear brought this up. Jeremy Clarkson was driving this Jaguar around that had this. He set his cruise control. He basically took his feet away from the pedals, still had his hands on the steering wheel, but he let the car speed up and brake for him. Now you think about that. A car that'll do that, you can sit there, your 2 feet flat on the ground, on the floor, let the car do all the work for you, and then all of a sudden you need to because something happened and you need to slam on your brakes. You're just not ready for it.
They did one where he wasn't even steering either. He drove it around the track, and then it learned from his lap and did the same thing, steered and all.
Oh yeah, it's another one, but that was a prototype car. But this is actually a production car. It was a Jaguar, if I remember correctly. He was racing the sun, I guess. I can remember the episode correctly.
They always come up with some crackpot face.
Yes. It's still an awesome show. Whatever you say. Top Gear is the best show on television.
Awesome, but racing like a Harrier around their track, it really doesn't make sense because the Harrier is not going to stay, directly over the pavement.
And it doesn't matter. That's like, well, we're gonna race this jet. We're gonna start here. We're gonna go up to a mile and then come back down against the Veyron.
Well, no, that was actually a pretty legitimate race because you got the fighter jet going up, and keep in mind it's still got to accelerate. And jets do take a bit of time to get going, and it's got to accelerate straight up and then come back down, whereas the Veyron has to accelerate in a horizontal line. And it actually was pretty even because the fighter jet's going to have a slower start off the line, but it's going to have a better start when it's coming back down from apogee.
If I remember correctly, the jet did pass the Veyron on the.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want the start of the race too. Just once those engines got the weight going forward, it was just afterburner kicked in and boom.
Yeah.
There's another car that's faster than the Veyron now too. It's made out in Texas, maybe Arizona, somewhere out west.
I think, is it that stretched Elise with the hopped up LS1 in the back?
No, it's a Apollo Aero or something like that. They had it on Jay Leno's garage.
Well, does it accelerate as fast as the Veyron?
I can't remember, but it's got a higher top speed by like 20 miles an hour.
Well, that's probably because it's rear-wheel drive, and it's only, so there's a lot less drag and friction in the drivetrain, so more power can actually go to...
Most likely, too. Wait. The Veyron, though, is...
More than 2 tons.
It was still the fastest 0 to 60 car. Production car.
Just can't beat 2 wheels. Will never be as good as 4 when it comes to acceleration.
No.
Even a motorcycle?
Especially motorcycles. Motorcycles are ultimately going to be limited by the traction that the one single tire can provide. You had all the horsepower you want. You had a turbo and nitrous to a Suzuki Hayabusa, and it probably won't have much better off-the-line performance than a standard Hayabusa simply because it's traction limited.
Wait, did I hear you right? So you're saying that a four-wheel vehicle will
four-wheel drive
always beat a
four-wheel drive vehicle will always beat a two-wheel drive vehicle in acceleration as far as traction matters. Like off-the-line acceleration. And when you get into these hypercars that have the capacity to spin the wheels in up to like third gear, four-wheel drive is mandatory if you're trying to extract as much performance as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's late.
I don't know shit about cars, so this is all like talking Chinese to me.
Yeah, and somebody brought up U.S. Top Gear. I'm going to say this. All U.S. Top Gear is they take the best part of Top Gear, which are the challenges, and that's all the whole show is with 3 assholes.
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand Tanner Faust.
Tanner Faust is an ass. Then we got that New York guy who's an idiot.
And even fatter California guy.
Yeah, fatter redneck, as I like to call him. I kind of figured it out that Tanner Faust is supposed to be like
Jeremy Clarkson?
No, the guy from New York, the dark-haired guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Tanner Faust is supposed to be the midget, James, not May, the other guy.
Richard Hammond.
The short one. Yeah, Richard Hammond.
Yeah. The dark-haired guy is supposed to be Jeremy Clarkson, because he wrecks everything. He's got that blunt force like Jeremy Clarkson does.
I will admit that one time when he jumped that Cadillac and it landed and bent the frame, that was pretty epic. That was like probably the only epic moment that show ever had.
Yeah, and the fat guy is supposed to be like Captain Slow. They try to make the thing is they try to make it too much like we're just going to take the best part of Top Gear with 3 crappy individuals who we're going to try to make like the 3 guys from Top Gear, and it doesn't work.
Wait, so the Top Gear that I've always seen is not the real Top Gear?
You've seen the UK Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson?
Oh no, I've only ever seen
British accent.
No, I've only ever seen the 3 guys.
You poor man.
Do the Top Gear you watch, do they have a British accent?
No.
They were American?
Yeah, the 3 guys that do stupid
you've
shit
only
with cars.
seen the crappiest Top Gear ever made. And I thought Top Gear Australia was bad.
You haven't seen people do stupid crap with cars unless you've seen the British one.
Yes.
Where they drive the Bentley or whatever into the swimming pool, jump it over the edges into the pool.
Stone Guy, you have Netflix, correct?
Yeah, so is it like Jackass with cars?
No.
No, it is.
No.
Well, sometimes. But here's the thing: they pull it off. It's this weird X factor that they have. It's this chemistry and the writing and just how they how they are. It's endearing and it's hilarious and it is just so much better than the American Top Gear.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this: go and add it to your queue on Netflix. Just type in Top Gear and add it to your queue. They've got, I think, every season. The first season only has 2 guys in it. Second season starts with the 3 guys, but I don't know what they call their seasons on there. I don't know if they count it as number 1 or they start at the first season, but they actually had shows on before this. But definitely watch it, because did you actually like the U.S. Top Gear?
No.
No, okay. Thank God. Start asking you where your taste was, but
Usually the way it works is you either like the American Top Gear or you like the British Top Gear. It's not common to like them both. You know?
yeah, that's why I was hoping that he would say that he didn't like American Top Gear.
Yeah. So there's still hope for Stone Guy after all. Who knows, maybe he can watch it with the women he keeps in his basement.
Yeah. They call them series, so you'll start out with series 2, which I think yeah, they only have in the first one it's 10 episodes, and they only have the 2 guys. And then in series 3, they take 3 guys. I can't remember if Captain Slow appears in the first, like the second half of the first season, or. Trust me, watch it. It is worth it. It's not given a 4.1 average rating on Netflix for no reason, and it's got almost 2 billion ratings. Almost 2 billion. Or 2 million, sorry. 2 million. I was reading that wrong. 2 million ratings, sorry.
I know Top Gear is the most popular show worldwide, but...
yeah, and the show, as it got to be the #1 show in the world, their budget went from being pretty damn good to being what budget?
Yeah, they're just given pretty much a blank check. And they've got, pretty much they call up a car manufacturer, they get what they want, Like, go put a couple of Ferraris for this,
Yeah. They try to get a Chrysler car, forget about it.
I finally found that car. It's the SSC Ultimate Aero. I posted a link to it in the internal.
Yeah, I know exactly what it looks like.
Oh, the YouTube video, I'm going to have to watch it. I'm not 100% sure what that is.
Oh, it's like 15 minutes long.
All right, I didn't even have to watch all of it. Once he showed it, I knew exactly what car it was. Pretty car, but it's rear-wheel drive. Which is the way Americans like their cars, though. The majority of Americans have this muscle car mentality. We want 0 to 60 performance.
Well, rear-wheel drive is superior up to a certain point because, you leave the front wheels doing just steering and some braking, and you let the rear wheels do just acceleration and some braking. You're not asking the front wheels to do everything. So it makes for a better handling car, but you get too much horsepower, and you can't control it with just 2 tires.
That is true, and as I said, here in America, look at our movies, look at our car culture. What do we want? We want the Mustang. The Corvette. Those are American.
Well, the Corvette is technically a supercar.
And that new one is sweet looking.
I just saw one of the new Corvettes. It looked like, I thought it was a damn Lamborghini from about a mile away. I was like,
there's a guy about a couple miles down the road that just bought a black one, and it is.
Yeah. Now, rarely do I get to see this, but I actually have a Packer player that lives across the street from me in that rich subdivision, and he has a Ferrari 458. Okay, he's making good change. So he has a Ferrari 458. I get to see him every once in a while in the fall, and then when training camp, I'll actually be driving down, and I'll see him in that car. Like, I'm taking this one to the
Corvette has always. The Corvette has always looked very international,
Corvette is just...
You think about it in the context of the years that each generation was produced. It looked pretty... It wasn't typically American in the way it was shaped and designed.
And
The C4 was a very late 70s, mid 80s, or to early 90s car. I mean, it looked like the Ferraris of that era. The C5. I don't necessarily think it looked like anything, European, but it didn't look very American either. It was very fluid, very sleek car, and then of course the C6. Aside from ripping off the Viper, very good-looking car. And this one, I'm looking at pictures of it on Google, and I mean, Ferrari can go to hell. Well, I've always said they can go to hell, but especially now, this is just an incredible.
I'm sorry. I think that the Ferrari 458 is probably one of the sexiest cars ever made. I only saw pictures before I actually saw it on the freaking road. It sounds like incredible, but it just looks so beautiful.
Well, since you've watched all the Top Gears, do you remember when they had the Ferrari FXX? I think is what it was called, the black one.
Yep.
To set the top speed on their track, and then they came back and was like, no, we had slicks on it, and took it off. It beat everything.
They had slicks on it. It wasn't a production car. And
it was like $3 million.
And it wouldn't have passed the sleeping policeman test either.
Oh, it wouldn't have passed a dead policeman.
It wouldn't pass the speed bump test. You can't drive it over a speed bump. It's not.
Yeah, it always set like an inch above the ground.
That's what they call them in England, sleeping policemen.
Didn't they say that if you buy one and want to drive it, they haul it to the track for you and then take it back to the factory?
It's more like a lease than.
Yeah, the $200,000 a year lease plus the $1 million down payment.
Hey, if you can afford it, you want a track toy, there you go.
That's like they were. I was listening to on an AM station here. They have an automotive show on Saturday mornings, and they were talking about leasing a new Porsche, and it was $200,000 down, and like $15,000 a month for 2 years.
Is this like the Carrera GT or something?
No, it was a 911. The retail price was $911,000.
Yeah, that is the GT.
The brand new one just came out.
Yeah, that's their turbo.
That would have to be the GT.
Yeah.
It better have more than turbo.
even the highest test 1911, isn't nearly that kind of money. That has to be the Carrera GT.
No.
Their handmade carbon fiber stuff. Because the 911s are all still stamped steel assembly line manufactured.
I'd rather have an AMG, like an AMG 65.
Yes, however,
they're cheaper and they're really cool, especially the black editions.
Yes, however, you would have to put wider tires on the back end because, as Jeremy Clarkson has proved time and time again, the Black Edition Mercedes are nothing but ways to turn tires into smoke.
Yeah, like I always remember that episode when he had the letter from Mercedes. They were like, "Do not, under any circumstances, disengage the traction control system, or you may die."
No, it says, "Do not, under any circumstances, disengage the traction control." And he looks at the computer completely deadpan, or he looks at the camera completely deadpan and says, "No."
Yeah, that would have to be just an awesome job to get to drive cars like that and get paid for it.
Well, look at that, something, I look at these guys, they call Hammond the American, which I don't quite get. He seems a lot more British to me than Clarkson does it most of the time.
Hammond has an Americana.
That's because he just wants to go fast and blow stuff up.
That's Clarkson.
Or Clarkson.
Hammond likes American cars. He likes American culture a lot more than any of the other ones do. It's like a fixation he has.
Well, he likes American muscle cars.
But Clarkson did buy that GT40, like,
Exactly.
and then another one that he had
And
to
then-
replace. They replaced it or
Well,
something.
he bought it and then he sold it because it kept breaking down and it had
Yeah.
awful fuel economy.
And that's sad because they could have done a lot with that car.
I think, you know what? It's a good looking car, but the original GT40 looks so much better. And like you can buy, you know, for what they are, GT40 replicas are pretty reasonable. You know,
Yeah.
I just think they look a lot better.
Well, Captain Slow bought a Ferrari, and I can't remember which one he bought. But then they came out with the 458. Right after he bought the worst one, I can't remember what it was now.
He bought the one that kept catching on fire. Because they had the one day that they all had shirts of the Ferraris on fire when they were at the track.
Yep. Well, then Hamster, didn't he buy one that too would catch on fire? I think so.
No. I think instead
I
of
think it was
Ferrari,
no, it was a
they did
Porsche. No, it was a
GTR.
Porsche. The Porsche that kept catching on fire that he bought.
Was the Porsche?
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, Hamster is a Porsche guy at heart. He loves his Beatles.
Well, if you like a Beetle, you might as well go get a Bugatti. Same bunch.
Oh.
Yeah,
No, come on,
Volkswagen owns Bugatti.
I know. But what always gets me, though, is... And Clarkson does make a good point, and so does May when they talk about this, that, you know, the 911 is really unchanged. The first 911 looks almost identical to the current 911. Then you get the standard 911, you go up to the GT, they look the same still.
Well, I think it hasn't changed because it's been so popular. I mean, people love that sort of classic look, and they make it handle well. So really, why should they change it?
Well, I know, I agree with you. You expect some changes, though. But it works. People buy them. People love them. Never been the hugest, you know, Porsche fan, period, but...
I think instead of a Porsche, I'd rather have one of the new GTRs, the new Skyline.
They're awesome cars, but it looks like an appliance compared to the old ones.
Well, yeah,
It
compared
looks
to
like
the old R34s.
It looks like an Infinity. You know, it's like you had Nissan and you had Infinity, and then the Nissan started looking like the Infinities. Like they became appliances. You know, Nissan is one of those companies that follow the trend of making their cars look like appliances. You know, they don't have really any unique style to them.
Yeah, an R34 definitely looks better, by far.
I actually think R32 is the best looking one.
The 32.
Personally. Although maybe that's because we're only a couple years away from being able to get R32s.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you guys. Have you seen the newest series of Top Gear here in the U.S. yet?
I
Doesn't
haven't.
it just start next week?
I keep meaning to watch it, but it's it's like I keep forgetting. You know.
I think it's confusing because they say, "Oh, tune in for new episodes." So I set my DVR to record it, and all it seems to record is best of episodes, and then a new episode, and then a best of episode for like 6 weeks, and then they're like, "We'll be back for our next series in 6 months. Have a good summer." On that bombshell.
I see what you did
Yeah,
there.
they're filming it right now. I don't know when the next new series. I've seen the British one came out in Britain. I've got a friend that gets it, so.
Well, I thought I saw on the BBC there that it starts in a week or two. Maybe it was August 12th, maybe? but I'm not for sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading it right now about, I guess they're in hot water after staging crash at a fatal car scene, or fatal car accident. So they're staging a crash there.
Who staged a crash?
It looks like Top Gear staged a crash. I'm going to read it. Huffington Post, you can't read it right now. I'll post the link in the internal. And the external for anybody that's interested. I still got 40 viewers, so.
I noticed at G-Webs he left. It's like, oh, cars? Can't shoot those.
You can shoot cars, it's just you're not going to be able to drive them normally afterwards.
I went to get supper tonight and I saw somebody had thrown 2 of those like power wheels out in their trash. And I'm going to go by there Sunday or tomorrow or Monday morning, see if they're still there and get them. Like blow them up with some tannerite or something. I'm too cheap to blow up a real car, so how about this?
So I think their last series is 20. I'm thinking it's 21. Let's see.
Okay, I like this line from the article that Quark posted. I've been told by the BBC that if I make one more offensive remark anywhere at any time, I will be sacked. And I'm thinking, like, no, like, there will be riots in the streets if Jeremy Clarkson gets sacked from Top Gear.
You're going to see Top Gear going from the #1 watched television show to the last watched television show.
If they do that, he should just come out and test that theory and be like, Chinaman, camel jockeys, wetbacks, and see if they fire you.
All right, Series 21 was the latest one. Series 20.
There are limits. Clarkson does have his limits.
Yeah. I remember reading that article where he punched Pierce Morgan. I was like, wanted to stand up and applaud.
Yeah, Series 22 is going to be the newest one, so. They're saying as early as July, so.
Cricket, cricket, cricket. Oh, that reminds me, Quark. I would like to thank you for single-handedly making me blow a Glock 41 on Legos.
What?
I have ever since he posted that video of that X-wing. I used to have a lot of Legos back in the day, and since he posted that video of the X-wing, I have spent about the equivalent of a Glock 41 in Lego stuff.
You know what? After I secure an M16A1 parts kit, I'm gonna start buying Legos too, actually.
Yeah, I just bought the R2-D2, and I bought the next X-wing above the one he's got, the UCS, and then I bought the Ewok Village.
I'm not so much interested in the Star Wars stuff, but like the Lego City stuff.
Well,
they've got some pretty neat trucks and vehicles out right now.
Yeah, the Technic stuff is really neat. That's what I have. The old sets are Technique. I've got like 2 semis and a car. But what I bought, I really bought or went on there and got the Star Wars stuff because I think it's cool. Greatest movie ever. And I bought the stuff that was that they say is hard to find or that's about to be discontinued. I wanted the big Star Destroyer, but they sold out the day before I could have purchased it.
Oh, you wanted the Super Star Destroyer?
Yep. I was all set to put down the money for that, but my credit card, I was going to be able to use my credit card on the Sunday, and the Friday before it went sold out on the website.
Huh. Wow. You know, I stopped at Toys R Us on my way home from the CPL class, and It's been a long time since I've been in Toys R Us, and the Lego section is like right near the front door, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is big, and it is. I do think at Toys R Us, it is more a question of what do they not have than what do they have, you know. But, I mean, it is mind-boggling how many Lego sets they have there. And also, I just realized that Toys R Us is kind of building their store like IKEA. In that it's like a maze. It's one continuous long maze that you have to follow from the entrance to the exit. They kind of make you loop through the back of the store.
Yeah, we will make you walk past everything.
Yeah, I really want the B-Wing myself. That's
Yes.
what I really want to get.
I am watching one of those on eBay. Or no, it just sold today for $138.
I mean,
Which
depends
is a
which
really
one it
good
is. They're supposed to come out with a new one this year.
Well, there's 3. There's already 3. There's
Yes,
2
but there's-
small ones and there's a UCS.
Right, but
The
they're supposed to
UCS is
come
what sold
out-
today.
Yeah, they're not what they're supposed to. Come on, I don't know if they came out with it yet. Right now, I'm looking to see what.
Well-
the UCS is like a $200 kit, though.
Oh yeah, at least. But the one that's gonna come out that I have the money just waiting is at San Diego Comic-Con. They are going to announce a Lego tumbler from Batman, and it's going to be a UCS set, so it's probably going to be over 1,000, maybe close to 2,000 pieces. And there's only been UCS Star Wars sets, except for a Batmobile from like the first Batman with Michael Keaton, and this one. So they're making like a huge deal about it. So I'm actually thinking about buying 2 of those. Just put one of them up, because I've seen what's happened with the original Millennium Falcon. I mean, them things are selling on eBay for like $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, sometimes they really go up. Sometimes they don't. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that the rare ones, if they're exclusives, are definitely going to go up. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm pretty sure of. Especially if it is an Ultimate Collector Series, it'll go up. It's almost a guarantee on those, because they only make them like 10,000 or 15,000 units of it, and that's it. Like, the only reason they had the Super Star Destroyer on the website was because they were clearing out the warehouse, and they had 5 that had come back from stores that hadn't sold. So.
Yeah, right now I'm just trying to figure out where the heck this would be, where I can find the list.
I know that LEGO has a history of doing some kind of off-the-wall themes, but a little part of me has just died inside because I'm on their website and I'm seeing the Simpsons.
The Simpsons house.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and like, okay, I'm dead inside now.
I almost bought that, but I bought the Ewok Village instead because it was a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer looking. I thought had more stuff to it.
I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get about $150 because they're making an AT-AT too. Those are the 2 I want.
Yes, I'm bidding on an AT-ST on eBay right now. I think it's the 2012.
Are you going
Ultimate
after
Collector.
sealed, new in box, or are you going after, ones that have been built
For the stuff? Yeah, for stuff on eBay, I really don't care. I mean, as long as it says it's complete.
Yeah, because the
generally
new
don't
in
matter.
box sets get really expensive.
Yeah. Yes. There's one, it's been on eBay a couple times, so I don't think it's going to sell. It's the Naboo fighter. And they want like $175, I think, dollars for it. And it's the parts in a Ziploc bag. Like, no.
This
If it
X-wing.
was in a box, okay.
I think I'm looking right now at that UCS X-wing, and I remember a long time ago I had an Lego X-wing, but it was really tiny. This one is huge.
Yeah, I've got the
And
one right
the
under.
B-Wing's actually out. Amazon, here I come.
Look at all
Sorry, I
the
just
green-
want to know that they actually released it.
Which one did they release?
The B-Wing, I can give you the set 75050 is the number. 75050.
It's a Gun Channels chat. We're talking about Lego. I just think it's funny.
Hey, Lego Star
Oh,
Wars.
that one, yeah.
Big Guns.
I just saw a review of that the other day. I think the guy said that he really liked it, but the canopy doesn't rotate as freely as they thought it could have. But they really liked it. And they said it should have come with a stand, because it won't stand up. You just got to kind of lay it on its side and fold the wings down.
Oh, come on! You gotta tell me it's a $50 set, and they're selling it for $80 on.
Yeah, eBay is $95.
They sell it already?
$95.90 free shipping. Oh, from Korea. Nope, wouldn't bid on that one.
How old is the Ewok Village set? Because I'm not seeing it on the website.
The Ewok Village. It might have sold out. Let me look.
Of course, what actually kind of kickstarted me into wanting to do Lego again was the train sets. Lego's got some neat train sets. The only problem I have with Lego is the tracks. With Lego trains are the tracks. They only have like the really sharp curves, and the switches look really weird too.
Yeah.
And so I for an evening I was researching all the different model railroad scales and gauges, trying to figure out if
Sorry about
they
that,
could
guys.
work on like Lionel track or something like that. Nope, it's a completely unique gauge.
Yeah.
And by the way, start saving your money for the ad. It's out in August.
Yeah. There's a couple of them that are supposed to come out in August. The Ewok Village is 10236. Is the number. Well, there's a lot of people
Here we go.
who are proud of the.
I must have been looking for the wrong thumbnail. Wow. Oh yeah, that's like diorama grade.
Yeah,
Lego
that's
sets.
exactly what I thought. I was like, this is way cooler than the Simpson house. I'm buying this. And it comes with a buttload of minifigures.
Minifigures, yeah. Looking at the photo, you got 4 stormtroopers, several Ewoks, and the heroes.
Yeah, one of the things I thought was interesting, they make the chair that C-3PO sits on, they put like a clear pole underneath it so it looks like it's floating where you mount it. Boy, even Stone Guy gave up on this.
I gave up quite a while ago.
He needs to keep some Legos to keep them teenagers he's got tied up in his basement happy. Play with this. I'll be back in a couple hours.
I'm at Toys R Us right now, so I don't got a Toys R Us here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go check like Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart, Meijer, Target, those kinds of places. You know, the Lego selection isn't good, but it's not bad either. It's nothing compared to Toys R Us, but you know, Toys R Us is toys. You know, they can afford to have a Lego section that's as big as half a normal store's toy section. Yeah.
I know. I used to work at Toys R Us. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your employee discount?
10.
That's not bad.
What was that B-Wing's number again?
75050.
I was looking on a site that sells a lot of stuff by the piece, and it's not even on there.
Bricklink?
Yeah.
Well, if it's not out yet, then not surprised.
No, it's out. It's released.
Yeah,
You
it's
said
out.
75050?
Yes.
So 75050.
Yep.
It's not showing up on their site.
Yeah, that's strange. I figured if it would have showed up anywhere, it would have been on there.
I can see it right now on Amazon, unless they're sold out already.
Amazon.
Yeah, there's. If you just type it in on eBay, there's 6 or 7 that pop up, but they're all over $90.
Yeah, right now I can buy one for basically like $85 shipped.
Quite literally, you have to pay to play.
I just want a B-Wing. The B-Wing and the AT-AT are the two that are my favorite prospectively. You know, the B-Wing for the, you know, the Rebels, and the AT-AT for, you know, the Imperial.
I can understand liking the Star Wars aircraft because they were always pretty cool. The walkers though always just seemed really clunky and impractical to me.
That's what I'm going for. I want a bunch of the fighters.
Like, here's the thing: in the prequels, you've got like the droid armies using hover tanks, and then later on, the Imperial army switches to mechanical walking things. And it just seems like the hover tanks were much more efficient design.
All right, Fries.com has it for $50 right now. So.
Have you seen the walking AT-AT, the one that's got the motors in it?
Yeah, I did, but it reminds me too much of when I was a kid. You got these, you know, the toys that walk, and they're like they'd have a whole bunch of issues. And sorry, my cat's making noise.
Yeah, they had a video of it walking, and it works real good on like a wooden table, but on carpet it didn't do too well.
Exactly.
And
that's
they're
all
a little pricey.
Just carpeted. Yeah. No, thank you.
This is kind of cute. I typed in Lego Hover Tank on eBay, trying to find that old the old set they had of the the Trade Federation's Droid Army Hover Tank, and it seems like people are doing brick builds of various tanks. A couple of M1 Abrams so far, and I'm looking at a Panzer IV made out of Lego right now.
Yeah, that's what I'd really want as, you know, as a guy would be like Lego to make actually military vehicles, you know.
There's
apparently
a company.
Megablox under their Call of Duty line actually has an M1 Abrams set.
Really?
Yes.
It even comes with a little John Price minifigure. So.
Yep. And then they've got another one like a beach landing, like from World of War. It's got like a bunker and a beachhead with a little barbed wire fences and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I understand why Lego doesn't do that, but Lego should do that, but market it to adults.
I think that's kind of what Technic is for. But Lego, being European, they probably don't want to do like the military stuff. You know, and Megablox has that market cornered pretty well. I mean, Megablox even mold their bricks in like modeled camouflage plastic. You know, so it's like that corner of the market's already been grabbed by Megablox, so to speak.
Yeah, I can see myself now at least getting the B-Wing if I can find it locally.
I just found a cool picture. I was looking for it of an AT-AT or an AT-AT that somebody made as a UCS. I'm gonna screen share it here.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, Megablox Pro Builder M1A1 Abrams tank. $65.
I can see myself spending $50 on the B-Wing. I can see myself doing that. Oh, let me lock in on you.
That would be nice.
Oh. Can you say $500 at least?
Oh, at least. Do you guys like Marvel, like the Avengers movies?
I like the movies. I don't like the Lego sets. based on the movie.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this one.
For me, the AT-AT 2 is one of those toys I never got as a kid. I wanted it so bad as a kid. My friend got it, and I was so jealous of him. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I want it. You know, not thinking like a. You know, if I were talking about just like the Imperial spaceships, the fighters, it would have to be the TIE Interceptor is my favorite there. The B-Wing's always been my absolute favorite.
There we go.
From the movies. I remember seeing that in Return of the Jedi, and it just fell in love. I thought the X-Wing was cool, but...
Here's some Lego lightsabers.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
exactly. But you guys got any of that striking from you as memory as, you know, watching the movies? Like, oh, that's really just super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, I played it on my my 386, you know, the X-Wing video games. And every
There's
time
the
I got to fly, every time I got to fly a B-Wing, I was just so awesome in the video game because they're just basically flying tanks, heavily armored.
Yeah, they've got that up for consideration on their Lego Creator site to make a possible set out of it.
Oh.
That would be damn
expensive.
cool. Expensive,
That'd be
but cool.
Well,
$400, $500 set.
it'd probably be closer to 1,000.
Oh. Oh
This
my god.
the picture that's on the screen has over 26,000 pieces.
Oh.
Oh. Maybe for like a Legoland display, but I don't see that ever being a set. You need to ask the employees for one of those little pallet carts just to take it to the register if it had 26,000 pieces.
How many pieces did the Super Star Destroyer have?
Like 3,000.
Yeah, 3,000 something.
And that's $400. Now it was
Is this
$399.99
CGI?
on Lego. I'm just saying the Lego price. So
No, that's blocks.
yeah, so you take that 3,000 some pieces. You know, that's $400. So
Okay.
now imagine what that is at
That model
26,000 pieces.
I was
model
wrong.
probably weighs as much as I do.
22,694 pieces.
Okay, that's going to be
is-
about $3,000.
85 and a half inches long and 45.3 inches wide.
Yeah, the one thing you gotta understand, like, oh, this thing's got 500 pieces and it's $50. That's the average price. You know, $50 for 500 pieces. That's how they look at it. You get these penny pieces, they're gonna, you know, they break it down. Now, if you got like 700 pieces for $50, you're getting a steal.
Yeah, I had to, when I ordered one of my sets, I had to call Lego, and I was talking to the lady about the creator site because she asked if I was signed in or logged in there, and we were talking about the hover carrier, and she's like, "There's no way we could build that." She's like, "But we could make it smaller. Like take everything. Like once they get a hold of it, they'll scale it down."
Mm-hmm.
She said they possibly, if it gets supported, because you have to get on this website, you have to get 10,000 supporters, and then it goes for consideration with Lego. And like they just made the Ghostbusters set of the Ecto 1. That was a set that started on this website. And she said if it does get enough supporters, it'll probably be scaled down if they make it to around 1,700 to 2,500 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be around, $250, $300.
Be interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah, and by the way, my X-Wing's actually hanging up from my ceiling, so...
Oh, nice.
Lego
Yeah,
X-Wing?
Yes.
Hmm.
If you didn't see the video, I was actually just built it because I told the story a few times, but I've always wanted to build Lego spaceship.
Hmm.
I asked for one for Christmas. This is back in very early 80s, 81 or 82. I actually found the kit, going through all these different kits trying to find the one that I never got to build. What happened was my father and uncle, I was going to build it. They took it away from me saying, it's too complicated and you're just going to break it or put it together wrong. One of
I
those
thought
things.
that was just I thought that was just like an urban legend that about dads doing that. I didn't know it was actually a real thing.
No, my dad and uncle took it away from me, and they sat down at the kitchen table at my grandmother's house. Not only did they build it, but they superglued each piece.
Okay, they need to burn for at least a year in hell.
So not
Well,
only did
actually,
they
no, about a month.
ruin,
They just need to burn for a month, and then they'll be okay.
not only did they ruin it by building it for me, they glued it together so I could never use bricks to do anything else. And I never asked for anything Lego after that again. So Legos stole me from me.
Gluing together a Lego set is like melting down a gun.
Yep.
Well, there was a movie called The Grand Budapest Hotel, and there was some guys that made a replica of that hotel in Lego. And there's a video on YouTube showing them putting it together, and they super glued every single piece together. Because this thing was like 5 feet tall and like 6 or 7 feet wide, and without super glue, if you move it at all, it'd just like crumble. So they had to.
There are ways of building Lego that doesn't do that, but I can kind of understand, I suppose.
Plus, I think they wanted it to go to like conventions and stuff, so they didn't want it to ever come apart.
Hmm. Well, it's not like there's a finite supply of Legos in the world.
Yeah, they extrude them out every single day.
Mm-hmm. And I think I want to buy this Technic hovercraft. It's got a spinning propeller and working piston engines and stuff, or a working piston engine. So as you roll it along the floor, the propeller moves and the pistons go. I remember them having a hovercraft like that a long time ago. Even if there aren't any actual studs on the pieces anymore, Lego Technic is it's weird. It feels like Lego, but it doesn't have studs on it, Oh, this mobile crane is badass.
The big yellow one?
The one with 5 axles.
Yeah.
And a double telescoping arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's a power function set too. So you can control everything with a remote control.
No wonder. Now they're saying it comes out in August. That's why it's so much money. Some people are getting it ahead of time. Sorry, I'm still looking at the B-Wing information.
On this crane, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5 axles turn. I mean, like 4 of the 5 axles articulate. I mean, this thing is massive. 2,600 pieces. $220. Oh. Oh man, if I wasn't mad dogging for an M16A1 replica right now, oh my goodness, I'd be sending a lot of money to Denmark right now.
If you want an A1, you mean one like this here? I'll screen share that. One like that?
It's back to your icon now.
How about now?
Nope, not working.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna post a link in the internal. I don't want you to post in the external because I'm probably not going to be able to
Yeah.
buy it until Thursday.
Don't want anybody to go get it.
Yeah, I don't want it selling out. I was going to buy a kit from Centerfire Systems, but they sold out, and so now I got to go to this one. Royal Tiger Imports. They've got kits. They're graded A to C. The A kits are 400. The C kits are 300. And I've seen a photo. Someone posted a photo of a C grade kit they bought from Royal Tiger, and it looks really good. I mean, there aren't even any teeth chipped off of the hand guards on it.
Oh, so you've got the triangle handguards on it.
Mm-hmm. It is literally everything except for the barrel and the receiver. So you don't even need to buy a lower parts kit. You just need to do the little. You just need to modify the fire control group so it doesn't work on full auto. You know, like machining the jag off of the hammer and cutting the notch in the back of the safety selector, that kind of thing. But yeah, you supply a barrel and a low receiver. You know, let's assume that I can get a lower for $100. Let's assume that a barrel plus a 3-prong flash hider is 200 even. You know, that's just, I'm under $700 for a replica M16A1.
That's like the first AR I ever bought was an A2 kit, just like that, except it had round handguards and the adjustable sight. God, that was 20 years ago. Oof.
I would never see myself using irons to do more than 100 yards. I don't need A2 sights. I mean, I've got a 16-inch Black Hawk Down style, skinny carbine handguards, a flashlight clamped to the barrel, fixed carry handle. It's running an A1 upper receiver right now, and I'm down the road. I'm going to switch out to an A2 just so it looks right. But
yeah, I just finished putting an AR together this morning. In fact, I put a picture of it on Gun Channels on the homepage. It's like, guess what I finished this morning? Crappy thing is, it's not even mine.
Well, it's midnight. I gotta go to bed.
All right. Well, it's just gonna be us two, so I guess I'll call it.
All right.
Sorry for boring everybody out there and listen to Legos, but tough luck. We enjoyed it.
Nobody else wanted to get in here and change the topic.
Exactly. Thanks for watching, everybody.